You're welcome, our dear student, in the second episode from your program Science for All for Prep 1 second term this year. Today we gonna go on what we studied last time. We talked about the motion, the third lesson in Unit 2. We talked about the first point, speed, and we know that speed is distance covered by moving object in 1 second. Now let's talk about motion. I ask you, my student, now to look at me well. Now, can you see me? Yes. I ask you to close your eye. Please. Now, close your eye. Now, open your eye. The question is, did you notice that I moved? Any part of my body moved or not? Yes. My hand, my arm moved. My arm, before you close your eyes, my arm was down, now it is up. You didn't see me moving my hand, moving my arm, but you could know that I moved my arm. Why? Because you noticed that the position, the place of my arm was on the table, on this desk, and after opening your eyes, you noticed that this position changed. It changed. What does it mean? It means that I moved. So, motion is a change in the object position. It is a change in the position of object, yes. But suppose that my arm is here or my hand is on the desk at 5 o'clock. Now, sure, it is not 5 o'clock because time passed. So, again, motion, it is a change in the object position as time passes. Okay, suppose that I am riding or I am in a metro and you are in the other metro, and these two metros move in the opposite directions, and we stopped, our metros stopped at El Shohada station, and we began to talk to each other through windows. We began to greet each other by our hands, and suddenly we felt that we separate from each other. The distance between us began to be long. Can you deduce which metro moves? If you don't feel the motion of your metro, can you know which metro moves? Maybe our metros move together. Maybe your metro moves and my metro is not, or is stopped. Maybe my metro moves and your metro not. How can you know? If you want to know which metro moves, what can you know? Huh? Just imagine, just think. Yes, you can look at the pavement, the people on the pavement. If you notice that the pavement moves backward, that means your metro moves forward. But if you notice that your metro, the pavement that you look at, the pavement doesn't move, it stopped. That means you are stopped. You are not, you don't move. That means that I move. So, if you want to know the motion of the object, you must compare it with a fixed point. Suppose that you are in a shuttle, a space shuttle, and move through the space and nothing near you. If you look from the shuttle, from the glass of the shuttle glass window, can you see nothing? Can you see anything? No. You can see nothing. That means you can't know, you can't recognize, you can't be sure that you move or not, because nothing tells you that you move. That means if you want to know that you move, it must be a fixed point to know that you move. So what's motion again? Motion is a change in object's position as time passes according to fixed point. This fixed point as pavement maybe, as a tree maybe, but this point is called frame of reference. Frame of reference. Okay, now again, what's meant of motion? Motion is a change of object's position as time passes. Okay, according to fixed point called what? Frame of reference. Okay, let's talk about types of motion. We have two types of motion. First, motion of planets around the sun. Motion of the train. Motion of the train. Now, we can classify these types of motion. If you look at me now, we have some types of motion as train motion, and we have planets motion. Okay, if I wanted to classify the motion of the moon as train or as planets, yes, it's good. Moon as planets motion. If I want to ask you to classify the motion of the hands of the clock, the hands of the clock, yes, it's like here, hand of clock. Okay, if I ask you to classify the motion of car, yes, car as train. If I ask you to classify the motion of bicycle, yes, bicycle here. This hand of clock is the pendulum. Pendulum, okay? And we may talk about the rotary bee. Rotary bee means النحلة الدوارة. Okay, that you play with it. Okay, my dear student, what the difference between this type of motion and this type of motion? As you see, the train motion starts from point and ends to another point. Maybe it starts from Cairo and ends maybe in Aswan. Car starts from a point to and ends at another point. Bicycle has a starting point and has an ending point. While planets doesn't have a starting point and ending point. Moon, hand of clock, pendulum, rotary bee doesn't. Each of them doesn't have starting point or ending point, but it repeats itself in equal periods of time. So we have two types of motion. Number one, this type of motion is called transitional motion. Transitional motion. Transitional comes from transport, انتقال, نقل. Transitional motion, حركة انتقالية. It characterized by presence of starting to ending, starting and ending point. And starting, I can say about it, initial. Initial means starting first, and ending means final. So we have two types of motion: transitional motion and periodic motion. Transitional motion, it is motion that characterized by presence of a starting point or initial and ending or final point. Okay, second type is called what? It's called periodic motion. Periodic motion is motion of pendulum, rotary bee, hands of clock, moon, planets, waves of water or water waves. And as you notice, this type of motion is repeated regularly in equal periods of time, Okay. Now let's talk about types of periodic motion. We have three types of periodic motion. Number one, circular motion. As what? As motion of planets around the sun, or motion of the moon around the earth. It's periodic motion. Why? Because it repeats itself in equal periods of time, so it is periodic. Number 2, vibrating. Vibrating motion is what? Is pendulum. Number 3, wave motion. Wave motion is water waves, sound waves, or light waves. Okay, now let's talk about types of wave. We have 2 types of wave, my dear student. Let's talk about them now